Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It is G here and we are having another stroll. It's kind of a great day, but it's starting to be spring. It's a little color behind me. It's starting to get pretty around the city. Actually, Milan has like one of the things that I like in the spring and the summer is they have a lot of colorful trees, but they also have jasmine everywhere. So like you go to the parks and everything and you can smell like jasmine, which is actually one of my favorite plants. So maybe that's all it is, my selfishness, that I like the smell of jasmine and that it's always around in the parks and stuff. But today I thought we could have a little chat about the school system here in Italy and my experiences so far, because I know there's so much going on in the US in regards to not just the violence that happens because of the gun laws in the United States, but also the education system with people not wanting to talk about critical race theory and other aspects of learning. So I thought I'd talk about that a little bit, guys. So go ahead, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. I want to say thank you and welcome to any new subscribers. I have seen you guys coming in, so I love it. I'm trying to get consistent. It's been busy, y'all. It's been busy with the kids and life and trying to keep up with everything. So guys, subscribe and let's have a little chat. I thought I'd talk about this, and I've been wanting to talk about this a little bit, but my kids are still young, and our 5-year-old is going to start primary school next year. And this, honestly, I've been nervous about him in schools because I hear so many stories about racist teachers and things from other immigrants who have talked to me about like their experiences and the experiences of their children being in schools, as well as some older people who have moved away who are like were first generation growing up here, and their experiences that weren't that positive with the social aspects of being in school. So this has been concerning for me because I really do believe that, you know, your early years in school can make you hate school, make you excel. Like, I mean, I still remember my kindergarten teacher. And I'm actually Facebook friends with her. But I just think that I just feel like it's such a sensitive time. And so, okay. So our 3-year-old has not started school yet. And my 5-year-old is in public school. And so when the school process started, it was something that was a little, I guess, worrisome for me after hearing some of the stories, not understanding the process, being in, you know, a foreign country. Like I know how to work within the school systems where I'm from, but obviously being somewhere different, it's all different. How you register for school, all of this stuff is completely like unrelatable for me. So when he started school, you know, you go and you tour the school, you get to talk to a few teachers, not necessarily the teacher that you are going to have. So you don't necessarily get a feeling. And I think there was supposed to have been a meeting with the actual teachers before class started, but I don't remember if that was true or not. Maybe making that up in my head. Anyway, I will say that since he has started school, since my 5-year-old has started school, and I guess he's in the equivalent of kind of preschool kindergarten, and like next year he will be starting first grade because it's officially obligatory. So up until 6 years old, or the primary age, school here is not obligatory. You don't have to send your kids to preschool or kindergarten. But obviously, I was hoping to get him socialized and kind of in that school experience before going to primary school, which will be very different than, you know, a kindergarten kind of situation. But what I will say about my 5-year-old's experience so far is definitely that it has been overwhelmingly positive. The teachers that he has had have been wonderful. They're so attentive and interested in what's happening with the children. And I think that schools here have a lot of the same challenges as the United States in regards to funding and things like that. And each school, I guess, does different things, but the school in which my kids have started, the school that my 5-year-old goes to has definitely made, I guess, some efforts to have exposure to diversity and things like that. It's not so much diversity in the school. Like, my son is the only brown boy in his class. There are other children of color in the school, but he's the only person of color in his class. And I would say that hasn't played that much into his socialization there at this point. I'm starting to, I would say there have been few things that he's talked about, like, oh, you know, I want straight hair, or I think that's actually the only thing that's come up, was that he wants straight hair. And I pretty much dealt with that from the point of view that, like, everyone in our house has curly hair, including their father. So I was just like, this is a curly hair house. Like, there's nobody in here with straight hair. Why would you want to be a different family? So that, I don't know if that was right or wrong, but it made it a little simpler that at least their father also has curly hair, and it was relatable to him in that respect. I mean, he's only 5. I don't want to get into too many things with him. There are little things that I have noticed, mostly on the playground after school, with some of the kids from the primary school that are much meaner. But he won't be going to the primary school, He's going to go to a more international school, primarily because it is a bit more diverse, as well as their English programs that they have that are more significant than the other schools. So, for example, the primary school that is attached to his preschool, kindergarten, only offers like 1 hour of English a week, starting, like, I don't know, in February, when school starts in September, because their focus is mostly, like, you know, Italian. But the school that we chose, he's going to have like 6 hours of English every week. They teach a course, not just English, but they teach actually another class in English. So there are more opportunities for him to interact with English language, as well as, like, they have STEM programs, you know, starting in 1st grade. And it's just, for me, it was also a different feel. So one of the things that really stands out for me in respects to the school system here and how they measure intelligence and how they measure the children's, like, overall growth and development is a lot through art and interactions with nature. So much different than what you expect in the United States, when everyone is so focused on test scores, even at a young age. You know, when they start indoctrinating people into, like, this system of testing, improving yourself, and things like that, is very different. So when I did the school meeting recently, it was refreshing to hear what they're doing, because my 5-year-old does not come home and tell me anything that they do at school. I ask him, what'd you do at school? What'd you do? And he's like, nothing. And that's pretty much it. What did you have for lunch? Pizza. That's another thing. All of the food is prepared. It's organic. Like, everything is bio. They pay really, really special attention to the meals that they prepare for the children, which I really appreciate. So it's a very different thing. And it has to be a movement for it. It's just done. So like, these are definitely things that I found that work well. Now, I will say that, like I said, I have seen like some kids be some really weird things, and I guess it's overall a reflection of the lack of exposure to people of color here in an overall sense. But I don't think it's thought about, like, in some respects of diversity in the class, how they teach things. I do know that I am going to have to do follow-up work and cleanup work in how they educate, or what they educate them when it comes to like history and everything, because history here, if it's any reflection of how the people are and how they think of people of color, is extremely whitewashed, just like it is in the rest of in the United States. I mean, they talk about you know, like, it's and I know it's whitewashed because their father, one of the first conversations that we had when I was here, when we started living together, and I don't even know how this came up, he was like saying something about Christopher Columbus, and I was just like, Indigenous People Day, and he was just kind of like, what? And I was like, we're not celebrating Christopher Columbus, or even talking about Christopher Columbus, the genocidal rapist, murderer, blah blah blah. And he had no idea that this was the reality of his explorations, to say the least. And then when he discovered, he was like, oh shit. So, you know, at his big age, he didn't know. So I do know that I'm going to have to fill in, and I think that would be anywhere. I mean, we see what's happening in the United States, just at the idea of making white people uncomfortable with the reality of history and their role of their ancestors in it. And, you know, I do have friends as well who teach English and everything, and the exposure that they have with the kids lets me know too how much I'm going to have to fill in, how much I'm going to have to correct. And there's going to be work to be done in that respect, because a lot of the kids have really that a lot of the kids are exposed to a lot of like racist ideologies. So, and I have seen that at the playground, to say the least. But I would say the school system in itself, in regards to what they teach and how they teach, is so far been a positive experience, and I'm happy with my children's teachers. I'm hoping that I always stay happy. I'm hoping that it is always positive for them. I just know already where I need to fill in for them in some respects, but I do feel like that would be the same anywhere. And it's something that we didn't grow up with. Our parents, or at least mine, didn't really do that work. Didn't do that work for me. But I definitely feel for my children, especially children growing up in a country that is not very diverse and not that focused on inclusion, need to have like that supplemental knowledge of understanding that the history that they're taught is only a small section of reality, and it's not even fully like truthful in most instances. But you know, to the victors go the stories, and that's what they need to learn, is that their history is, you know, something more than what they'll be taught. So, and I think that's part of the reason that some of the children here as well as the adults, still hold on to so many stupid ideas, to say the least. Anyway, but I guess ultimately, in the very base, they're safe. They're not going to get, you know, murdered or whatever by a crazed gunman just going to school, and they have an opportunity to be free. When I was listening to the teachers talking about like the things that they work on, the imagination play, and all of these kind of things, like it just made me happy to know that they have like that freedom of thought right now, and that's what they should have as they're developing themselves as humans. So guys, subscribe to my channel, and if you guys want to talk some more about this, meet me in the comments. Ciao ciao for now.